to another special edition of Newsmakers as we look at Missouri Southern at this time of transition and what's happening as far as campus operations and how we're reaching out to students. And today we're focusing on some efforts for development as well as student success and student services. Joining me, Julie Wengert and Kevin Greim. Thank you for being here today. So
Thank you.
Let's start off, Julie, you've been on campus and so have you, Kevin, but Julie, from your perspective, it's been a few weeks now since suddenly we had this massive change of everybody gone and we have to, serve our students. How do you feel it's gone over these first few weeks?
I think it's gone pretty well. The campus community has really done as best as they can, as quick as they possibly could to make all of the changes that were necessary to support the students and the faculty during this unique time. So I think overall, I would say that the response has been done very nicely.
Great. Of course, Kevin, you have worked with the foundation and the development office. You were involved probably in a lot of the decisions. What do we do now that we've lost this core of what we had beforehand, the operations? So tell me a little bit about development.
Yeah, I would echo, first of all, what Julie said. I think it's been pretty remarkable to see that people have just jumped into this and adapted to it. I just applaud our faculty for many of them really having to alter what they do from an approach to teaching and learning. And obviously I haven't seen it firsthand. I'm not taking any classes right now, but I, just from reading emails that are going around campus, applauding the faculty for their efforts. I think it's been awesome to see that happen. From a staff standpoint, you don't want to sell them short either. I can't speak to everybody, but our staff in the alumni office and the development office have been awesome. They've just accepted it. They're like, okay, we still have stuff to get done, and we're going to do what we have to do to get it done from a technological standpoint, from a however they have to outreach with donors and constituents and alums and whatever. They've been very good about it. So I think it's been pretty cool to see everybody just do what they need to do.
Of course, Julie, your area, your responsibilities, Dean of Students, you are really there for the student success and working with a lot of people who are there to see not only the students, make this transition, but to continue to succeed. So tell me a little bit about your area of responsibility and what's been involved.
Sure. So what we've decided to do is to try to speak to every student by phone, every currently enrolled student for this semester. And so we started a calling campaign last Tuesday, and we're using Microsoft Teams and a plethora of representatives from different campus offices, not only within student affairs, but also some other offices. We have some administrative assistants from various offices, such as advancement, Department of English. We have some IT representation there. We have athletics working with us to reach all student athletes. And so we decided to come together and use technology to try to make sure that we've talked to every single student and to check in on them.
And tell me a little bit about this effort. Obviously, it's a team effort. A lot of people, we're talking thousands of students that you have to reach out to.
Yes, it seems a little overwhelming, but the goal is to make sure that we've at least attempted to talk to all of them. So I think by the end of today, we will have attempted to reach about 70% of that list. And we're hoping to wrap that up by Friday. So we're really proud of that. We've talked to about 29% of those students. And what we're doing with that is if there is some follow-up, if there's some follow-up that's needed that the caller cannot address while they're on the phone with the student, then we are actually using our student management system to create a case for them. And then our MOSO Cares members are doing all of the follow-up and reaching back out to the student to make sure that the student gets the resources that they need.
So have you heard any, without giving any names, some stories or testimonials from the people making the calls as far as student reactions? I mean, you're calling me, or what kind of response are you getting?
I have. After the first week, I did sort of an informal survey with our callers to just make sure that we weren't emotionally draining them by doing this. But I was very pleased to hear that they are all very energized by doing this. Some people that are doing the calling don't normally get to interact with students on a day-to-day basis. They're more behind the scenes, behind the screens type of people. And so they are very energized by this. They are talking to the students. They're getting good feedback from the students. The students are just so appreciative that we're doing this and that we're checking in on them. Sometimes we reach parents of students and they're very appreciative as well. And so callers are just responding to me by saying that they feel really good about the work that they're doing for this project.
And the work, as you asked about, Kevin mentioned, the work continues, even though we're not on campus, people are still working. And Kevin, from the foundation development side, students and everyone, and when this happened, suddenly you realize there's a lot of needs out there. So I want to go into the area of the Lions Helping Lions project. This is something that some people in the community have heard of, many people on campus and are associated, but tell us a little bit about that project.
Well, you think about the number of students who attend Missouri Southern who have other jobs. I mean, they're working while they're going to school. It's a significant portion of our student population. And then you think about, well, okay, what kind of jobs would they have potentially as they are going to school? And a lot of those types of jobs are part-time jobs, or they could be in the service industry, whatever. A lot of them are really impacted by this, by either a reduction in hours that they have available to work, or they've been laid off, or their jobs have been suspended temporarily, hopefully temporarily. And they're sitting there right now with no jobs that are going to help pay for the school that they're attending right now. So yes, we know, even without doing any research, how much that there's a lot of need out there among our students. So we have engaged in several asks, all of them virtually. So all of them by email or social media, where we have reached out to our faculty staff on a number of occasions, and we have reached out to our entire database of alums and past supporters to say, in a tasteful way, look, we know this is a difficult time. You may be out of work. If you are, we understand that and disregard this. But if you're in a financial situation where you can help our students right now, we would greatly appreciate that. The response has been really good, and it's really ramped up in the last few days. So we hope by the time the donations slow down or maybe stop, that we will have accumulated in the $20,000 range of money that we can then disperse to students. Judy, it was a really good indication of the amount of need that there is out there. Okay, so first of all, we wanted to accumulate some of this money in this fund that's held in the foundation before we publicized it to students, because if we had $1,000 in there, that's very different than if we had $15,000 in there.
Right.
So we wanted to wait till we had a little bit of money in there before we publicized the availability of these funds to our students. When we finally had enough money in there, we had a chance to meet with a committee who's going to award this money to the students who apply for it. And then we sent out an email to all of our students that said, okay, we have a student assistance fund that has resources available. If you would like to apply for some, go ahead. Email went out. Within 30 minutes, we had over 60 applicants. I know that we've got over 200 applicants right now, which is admittedly more than we're going to be able to help with this money. But that opened our eyes to the need that we have. I will say, once we first got that initial wave where we saw that 60 apps came in the first 30 minutes, we were like, holy cow, there are students who are just waiting for an opportunity to apply for some of this assistance. We sent out another email to faculty staff saying, hey, we've received an overwhelming response to this application process. Would you consider supporting now? And the response from our faculty staff, couldn't be more proud of them. It's been another bump in what we had in that account. So we have, like I said, we've got about 200 applications in right now, more than that actually. and we will be going through those and trying to get some of these funds out the door as quickly as we can.
And we hear the term a lot, the Lion, your family, the Lion family. This sounds like, Julie, that really you're talking about faculty, staff supporting their students and that family perspective. We're here to help you. You know, the people that you're working together with, your people you're interacting with on campus when you're here.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to have been a little part of the Lions Helping Lions, getting that going, and I get to serve on the committee with Kevin and some others. And so I'm excited to be able to help out that way. It's really actually, this is the first time that I'm hearing, you know, that we did the second outreach to faculty and staff, and that they're giving even more of themselves, because so many are giving to this calling campaign. And like Kevin said, faculty are just turning their classes around to the online format and giving of themselves. They gave their spring break to do that, and now they're giving financially to help the students in need. And that just says so much about how the Lion family really is a family.
Working together. Now, Kevin, there's a process. You have the applications. Explain for the audience as far as you have the applications, then you say you have a committee that's going to go through and see what the concerns are.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, we're not going to be super picky on what their needs are. If somebody probably doesn't include a need, we may not consider that one. But everybody that I've seen so far is in need of this money. So we'll be examining it chronologically. There are some students who are asking for amounts of money and amounts of assistance that we're not even going to come close to being able to help them with. But we will be able to guide them to the financial aid office, who also has some resources. There will be some federal help that is coming at some point, and hopefully some of these students also receive the CARES stimulus money. So, you know, there's help out there, and whether or not we can directly help these students with a credit to their student account, or in some cases a check that's cut to the students, we will be reaching back out to them to say, hey, even though we are not able to help you, or even though we're only able to help you this much, consider this. There are other resources out there that are available to you. You know, the committee will, I'm not going to say there's going to be hard decisions. There's just only so much money that's in there, and it's not going to be able to cover every one of these applications that comes in, but we'll do our due diligence in trying to get that out for sure, and quickly.
Of course, you're mentioning, you know, that, of course, just even paying for the cost of going to school. Are you finding students who might have questions about, you know, I have to pay my rent, my roommate's not working now, or, you know, how am I going to buy groceries? You know, those types of human needs as well.
Absolutely, yes. There are folks who are wondering about next semester, but there's also folks who are wondering about, you know, dinner and food next week. So, yeah, we're seeing a wide range of the types of needs that people have, for sure.
Julie, as you're talking to the students on the phone, are they, you know, sharing some of these concerns with you as well? That, you know,
yeah, I was just getting ready to say a couple of other needs that I noticed when combing through some of the follow-ups is that sometimes students are using their phones as hotspots, but they only have so much data. And so if we could help them pay for extra data on their monthly plan, or if we can buy them a hotspot, or some students are having to share a laptop with their working parents and their siblings who are trying to do homeschool work. And so maybe they can have some money towards buying their own laptop so they can do that. So, you know, there's a variety of needs out there that I think we can at least help cover.
And you really can't assume everybody's situation is the same. Everybody, it sounds like as you talk to people, everyone has a unique situation. They may be on their own, or they may be in a house full of people that they weren't anticipating being home again with a house full of siblings and parents.
That's right. Or other college siblings that are home and doing their work too.
So the changes and what's involved along those lines. Well, Kevin, as you're continuing, you know, getting the responses for this, are you looking at outreach beyond the campus? You talk about faculty and staff supporting. What if someone's watching from the community and they'd like to help Missouri Southern students? Are there opportunities there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know, this is not just a one-year thing. As far we'll keep this fund open in future years, and because we, you know, outside of this health crisis, we have students who experience life emergencies and financial obstacles all the time. And Julie well knows that. She talks to students all the time who say, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. Legitimate problems that they are having. And we want to try to knock down as many of those barriers as we can towards a Missouri Southern degree, even in future years, not just this year. So this Student Assistance Fund will remain open for years, and we hope people continue to give to it. But if you're in a position where you can help right now, we've got plenty of need. Believe me, it'll go to a good cause. So if people want to make a donation, we have a secure donation website. You can either just navigate to mssu.edu, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see giving, and you can click on that. The default fund right now is the Student Assistance Fund. You can also give to any other number of areas on campus, but that's the default fund that it goes to right now. And then if you're not on Missouri Southern site, it's just mssu.edu/giving, and that'll take you to our giving website as well.
Right. So this is an ongoing effort. It's not just we got this done in April and March and we're finished. We're going to keep going through this type of service.
Yeah, this was something that we were planning on launching next year, as a matter of fact, but the need presented itself obviously sooner than that, and so we went ahead and rolled it out as soon as we were off campus. Basically, as soon as the campus shut down, we thought, man, we need to do something right now. And actually, whether some of our alums give to this or not, I think it's good that they see that something is being done on the students' behalf. There is fundraising going on. We always fundraise for students, no matter what the project is. Ultimately, it always goes back to students. It just doesn't always affect them immediately and personally. This one does, and we've seen a very good response to it thus far. But yeah, we had to move the timeline up a little bit, but this was something that we were planning on doing anyway.
Of course, the foundation has a strong history of the scholarships that help the students, the programs that you support around campus. So those are continuing as well for students. To help.
Yeah, absolutely. And, students need to know that there are resources available to them that are outside of, maybe Pell Grants or university scholarships. There are foundation scholarships that are available every single year as well. When a student fills out their FAFSA, they are given the option to also at that time fill out an online foundation scholarship application. It's pretty easy. It's really not a labor-intensive thing. It'll take them 10 minutes to fill it out, and any student who fills that out is automatically slotted into any scholarship that comes from the foundation that they would fit the requirements for. Okay. So at that point, committees decide on who receives scholarships, but they need to know that it takes 10 minutes to fill out this foundation scholarship application, and they should do that when they complete their FAFSAs.
Of course, this is the spring semester, the time of year when maybe some of those scholarships are being awarded for next year that they would find out. Tying that together. Well, Julie, tell me a little bit about in your area. We talk about supporting the students, students beyond the financial need. There may be some that just need someone to talk to, whether it's counseling or maybe they need some tutoring services. This whole adjustment to learning online they're not used to. You have those types of services available through campus as well.
Yes. And some of the follow-ups have fallen into those categories. Most definitely. We've got a lot of people that are stressed and having anxiety, and so we have counseling services available for free, and they are able to temporarily deliver those via telehealth type of format. And we had some follow-up where students are inquiring about help with their resume and things out of career services, and so that's been a good connection for them to be able to do that during this time, and they are using Microsoft Teams to connect with students in that way. Definitely some tutoring referrals have been made, and so tutoring is operating through Blackboard Collaborate in a face-to-face sort of like Zoom, and so our tutors are still working hard to support students academically. We have also been, a lot of students have reported that they're doing fine. And they are inquiring about, how do I get enrolled, and how does this new grading policy work with the pass, low pass, unsatisfactory grade? And then a couple of students are needing help with just withdrawing from a single course because they didn't have a good midterm grade and they were planning on doing that anyway.
So a lot of those operational questions you would have had on campus if they would have been there in person, they're still able to have those answers provided for you
Right.
the media tying together with the internet. You mentioned students that might have questions about the services with tutoring and so forth. So if somebody has one of those classes, they're struggling, and there still are services provided where they can maybe have that help they were getting at the beginning of the semester as well.
Most definitely. And that's all done through Blackboard Collaborate. I think tutoring is hosted out of Student Success Center. And so there are links within Blackboard that students can click to get connected to make an appointment for tutoring out of there.
And with students, when you're getting responses from them, you also talk about the faculty. I know you have a system in place where faculty are contacting the students, obviously through their classes and, interacting with them. If a faculty senses that a student needs support, they have a means to contact others on campus to provide that support.
Yes, and so there was a big push last week for faculty to use our student management system, which they know is Lion Alert. Mm-hmm. And so they are creating a Lion Alert through the system, and that goes to actually the ACTS office. And some of those end up coming to the MOSO Cares team or the appropriate resource on campus. And so once that coding happens, then we're able to get into the student management system and do the follow-up and document all of that. So we've had a lot of faculty over the last couple of weeks report that a student hasn't been participating in their class since spring break, perhaps. And so we're reaching out to all the other teachers that they have to find out if that's true across the board or not. And then we're trying to reach the student in many different ways to see what's going on and figure out, are they having internet difficulty? Are they planning on dropping? Try to find out what is going on. And then we're trying to close the loop and make sure that the reporting faculty member and all of the faculty that we reached out to get some closure on what the student's plan is.
Right. You don't like the unknown as, whatever happened to John Doe or Sue Smith. You want to be able to say, you have an answer to that.
Right. And, sometimes it's just one class that they're not participating in, but sometimes it's all classes. And so I think that faculty appreciate just knowing, is it just my class or was it everyone? And I had a student that I contacted last night and he was going to do a complete withdrawal. And so I'm just able to give that closure to the faculty on what's going to happen so they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. So that communication being an important part of what we're trying to do. And Kevin, I know at this time with the foundation, your role in supporting the university, we hear so much about the financial challenges. You mentioned, of course, federal funding coming, which is going to help the university as well as the students. But I imagine a lot of people are looking at, what can the foundation continue to do to help Missouri Southern as a university and its operations and, services provided?
Well, our ability to impact the university is largely dependent on what the donor wants to do with their money. So a lot of it is scholarship assistance. I mean, a lot of the donations that we get on an annual basis do go towards student scholarships, and that's where that money has to go. As far as assisting in university operating, that's not really something that the foundation is going to be able to do because that's not what donors give their money to. So now donors do oftentimes give money to the biology department. And in that case, the department head is able to supplement what they're able to do with donated money that comes in. But really, it's rare that a foundation would be able to just say, okay, hey, I know that the university is in need of money here, and just have a pot of it and send it over there. It's all donor-intended money. We follow what the donor wanted to do with their money.
So is your department following up with the donors who've supported in the past and, assuring them that we're not there physically on campus, but we're still doing operations. We continue to appreciate your support and look to the future when we're there.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what we've been doing, it's a difficult time to ask for, large donations right now because the stock market has not fared well since this crisis started. So, to approach someone and think they're going to commit to a large donation right now is a little bit, probably the timing wouldn't be right on that. There's other projects that are going on that we're trying to get funded, but it doesn't feel quite right now to ask to fund those projects. So really, honestly, what a lot of our outreach has been is either two things. It's the Student Assistance Fund, or it's just how you doing? You know, reaching out to those who have supported us in the past, and just seeing, are you navigating through this okay? Do you need anything from us? A lot of us in the office have developed personal relationships with a lot of our donors, and it's, you know, we check in on them on a regular basis, but this gives us another reason to call them and say, you doing okay? And then, you know, there's been a fair amount of what I would call discovery calls or emails in just trying to reach out to alums of Missouri Southern who maybe we have not had personal contact with before. So those are some of the things that we're really working on right now. You know, the full-throated ask for this type of endowment or this type of project on campus, some of that is not going on quite as much as it would on a regular basis.
So a lot of communication continuing, however. So, Julie,
Yes.
as far as speaking of communication, if someone were to ask you, what message would you like to get across most to the students? You're obviously reaching out to them, and I've had interviews, you know, talking about the transition and so forth. But if you were able to talk to the students, what one message would you like to get out to them today?
Oh gosh. One, I would say answer your phone. We'd love to talk to you. We want to know how you're doing. Respond to those emails that we're sending when we don't get a hold of you. We really just want to know that you're okay and that you're safe, and that we're here to support you in whatever way we can.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for joining me today, providing some information for the campus and the community. And if people have questions, obviously, Kevin, you've referred to the website. There's a lot of social media aspects of being able to reach Missouri Southern, and people on campus have email contacts, so they can follow up if they've heard anything today. But thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us this week. Bye-bye.